So today is the 6th of October, and the roadmap for Lost Ark came out on the 3rd of October. And the encompassment of what the roadmap will cover is the plans for the rest of the year, which is the last 3 months. So I'm gonna read through the stuff that they've given us and make some comments. I think Egg has already read this. I have not. For some context, I played Lost Ark when it came out for probably like 900 hours, around that mark, of playing it every day, doing like every Una, every Chaos Dungeon, a lot of the event islands, a lot of horizontal progression. I made 6 characters, got them up to like 1325, had a character ready for Argos when it came out, and then when Vulcan was about to be released, I dropped out of the game, and when Clown came out, I returned to the game. So I'm back for Clown, although I'm not playing it at the level I was playing it before, but potentially looking to get more into the game. We'll see. The roadmap will cover what's coming out in terms of classes and raids, I think, but I'm just going to get into reading it.
It's just content. It's the planned content, like patches, balance, anything. It's not just raids and classes. All of it.
Heroes of Arcadia. The Rage with the Machinist update recently released a ton of new content into Arcadia with the Machinist Advanced class, Cockle Sadon Legion raid, and new progression events. But we know players are eager to learn what's arriving in the coming months, so let's dive in. There are 2 main stories being told over the next 3 months as we look to close out 2022. The next few months mark the road to the Belshazzar Legion raid, one of the most challenging, unique, and beautifully dangerous raids in all of Lost Ark. As we head toward the climactic battle against the Phantom Legion commander, new raids will be added in October for the heroes in Arcadia to hone their teamwork, skills, and ability to overcome unique mechanics, and new progression events to provide upgrade materials and progression opportunities. December will bring Belshazzar alongside a host of other content to end the year with a bang. The release of both the Reaper and Summoner advanced classes over the next 3 months conclude our plan to release the first 21 advanced classes before other new or future classes are added and give new opportunities for players to fill out their roster with their favorite playstyles.
That means the 21 advanced classes, they consider Artist and Aeromancer and anything beyond to be a new stage of like making classes.
Sure.
Because they opened up the specialist bracket, so they're not included. Basically, Artist, Aeromancer, anything beyond will be a new. They had planned for, I think, 21 classes or something, and then have since decided that they're going to keep adding more.
Sure.
So, they told us that 2 roadmaps ago, there was going to be that we weren't going to get anything other than, we weren't going to get Artist or Aeromancer basically until everything else was released, right? So, this is them telling us, well, we're getting there.
I'm still of the opinion that keeping classes locked is probably not good. That I can understand releasing new classes because obviously they don't have them, but if there are classes that could be ready for us, that getting them very soon would be beneficial, because there are going to be people that would have played, but since they don't have Summoner, they won't play, and then they'll just never play.
So basically, what pumping out the 2 classes, Summoner and Reaper, before Belshazzar. So after Belshazzar was released in Korea, they then got They got Summoner like with Belshazzar, so it was like not Summoner, sorry, Sork. So anyway, the only classes that that basically were getting even with them, because when Belshazzar came out for them, they didn't have Artist or Aeromancer, right?
Yeah, that's because they weren't created.
Yeah,
but
so
they are created at this point.
Yeah, in terms of like what was available at the time of the release of the content, we will be at the same page as Belshazzar. And then anyway, that means that like in a month or two, a month or two after that, there should be the Artist, and a month or two after that, the Aeromancer. So earlier than expected.
I think that the way that you have to invest into characters in Lost Ark makes it such that having classes as soon as we can, so where people can invest in them, is better than the hype generated by a new class coming out. That doesn't mean that
I think that the hype of
I think they shouldn't add new classes.
I think the hype of Scouter kind of contradicts that point. I think a lot of people came to the game. A lot of people spent money because Scouter finally came out.
But would people have played the game for Scouter?
They would have played from the beginning for Scouter, but they probably wouldn't have spent money.
Maybe.
They wouldn't do it if it wasn't better for money.
Or if they didn't think it was better for money. But I think it's not better for money, because I think you lose players. Because if someone really wanted to play Machinist, they just didn't play for the start of Lost Ark, which, I mean, there's still advantages that you can accrue and stuff, but like, unless you're like there's a subset of people that are involved enough in the game that know what's going on in Korea and are looking forward to a class coming out. And before that class comes out, I'm not sure if they're going to play the game in order to like accrue resources while waiting. Maybe they are. Maybe people that really want to play Artist, for example, are playing the game and are just playing a bard in the meantime or something.
Some are, but I think that like if you look at other Twitch chats for Lost Ark, people are like, I'm just not playing until, for instance, like a Reaper is a popular one. They're like, I'm not playing until Reaper's coming out. Or they're like, I downloaded the game, I got to level 50, but like I'm not actually gonna play the game until like, not actually going to like do anything in the game until Reaper comes out, and it's gonna feel, and they're like, it's gonna feel, they've already talked about it, already seen this response, like it's gonna feel shit, I won't be able to get it ready for Belshazzar with everything. And then people in the streamer are just like, just play the game forehead, play a class you don't want to play for 5 months until it comes out, or don't complain. And it's like, well, that's not an option. That's like almost nobody's going to do that.
It's a potential that this isn't actually a widespread phenomena, because first it requires you to have knowledge of what's going on in Korea, which I do think is a large portion of the player base, although not all of it. And then it requires you to be so dedicated to a class that you're not going to play another one. And then it requires you to not jump back into the game when that class comes out.
I mean, I think that just the announcement of a class is enough to make somebody... I think just somebody knowing that Summoner's 2 months away would be enough for them to come back and start playing something else for now. I think maybe it is enough time. I mean, you can. I mean, I know it's enough time. In 2 months, you can get a class. Like, maybe I should do that for content. Save everything and see if I can get it. No, I can't do that. I have to gear other characters. I can't do that experiment.
But I still don't like it. But I don't think it's.
I think the dumbest part was not releasing. I think that saving things like, for instance, you know, like Aeromancer and Artist, that made sense. But I think when the game released for us, we should have had all the classes that were not Artist, Aeromancer. Aeromancer wasn't even out in Korea yet, so of course it couldn't be out. But I think like everything but Artist should have come out for us. I understand why they didn't do Summoner, because Summoner was getting a complete overhaul, like to its kit, like literally like it was in the process of being reworked. Same with like Destroyer, so like maybe those two, I understand why those two didn't come out, but like it's like We should have had more. Reaper should have already been available. Scouter should have been available. Glaive should have been available. Although Glaive came out a month in, I guess it's not bad. I don't know. It's either it all should have been available at the start, or there should have been classes every two classes every month or every 2 months instead of one every other month.
Yeah, but I guess that'll be a problem.
And it's also like
it's
again also in 6 months it won't matter anymore.
Yeah.
There's not going to be another class coming out in Korea that quick, and like we're going to get we'll have Aeromancer by then, so it's like we'll have all the classes and it won't matter anymore.
I agree with that. It seems like a thing they could have a problem they could have avoided, but
they're also
on the other hand, like it isn't necessarily a problem. So
they're also expediting the process by giving us Reaper and Summoner in these last 2 months when everybody thought we were only going to get one. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, but like they could just give them to us now.
Yeah, 3 months isn't really that
much.
3 months isn't really that much time when it comes to like the game's whole lifespan. So whatever.
Sure, but like the only reason they aren't is so that people will feel pressured into spending money to power up their summoner.
Or they feel the incentive to come back and play the game for free, because you will get a pass with it, and that character will go to, By the time Summoner comes out, there'll probably be the 1445 pass. So like my Summoner will go from 1445, or go to 1445 basically for nothing, from inception. So I guess it's fine. It's just, I think the only thing it does is potentially cause people who like see something about the game to be like, oh, I'm just not going to play. And then if you say, oh, I'm not going to play now, but I'll come back later, people have a lot of stuff going on in their lives. It's a big chance they're never going to come back and never going to actually start playing. So
depends how hype the releases are.
Yeah.
And I think Belshazzar will be hype enough of a release that people will come back
Yeah,
for
but
it.
Summoner's not hyping up a release. Like the class isn't. But I guess
does
it's
Summoner add to the hype of Belshazzar?
Well, it'll come out a different week, presumably, because that's all the others. Well, I guess Scouter and Clown came out at the same time, but they said that wasn't supposed to happen. They got delayed by a week.
Let's see.
Although 1 week was actually probably enough to get a character.
Depends what they have in terms of events and.
Well, yeah, it's basically the set is all you need to worry about. Is like, can you get your 6-piece set in two resets? And yeah, you can. Don't fuck it up.
I don't know. I think requiring everyone to buy the box to get their character ready on both weeks is you're asking for a lot. Because only one person per raid can get the box.
KP your way to victory.
I guess. I'm going to continue reading now. The content and updates found below are some of the highlights we know players are eagerly awaiting, and is not a comprehensive list of every change arriving in Arcadia over the next few months. Stay tuned to our website and social channels for future release notes, including the full list of new content, cosmetics, balance changes, events, bug fixes, and more included in these updates. Have we already got that balance pass that Korea got recently?
2 months ago? No.
Okay.
We're like 5 months, 6 months behind on balance now.
Maybe we'll get that at some point. October. New event. Mystic Abyss Raid. Interesting.
It's the card.
Oh.
Right, yeah.
The Guardian Mystic. Mystic is the dragon's name.
Yeah.
Interesting. The Guardian Mystic, formerly known as the Herald of Vagris and the Arc Carrier, first of his name.
He carries all
chains.
He carries all 7 pieces.
Ender of Cycles.
Yeah.
Has begun to cast dangerous mists from the permeated chaos and must be vanquished in this new limited time Abyss Raid. During the Abyss Raid event, quote, Scale of Harmony, end quote, is applied, changing character stats to match the Guardian's level.
That's the one that was on Argos's thing for the longest time, but was not supposed to be there. It's because in the Guardian Raid tab originally, the art in that slot was belonged to Mystic. So when they Yeah, it was a big blunder on their part. But yeah, the actual like scale of harmony balances everything around a similar item level. I think it's 1385 is what they say. Yeah.
Item level 1302 or higher is required to battle Mystic, and an abundance of weekly rewards await those who rise to the challenge.
1302 though, it's really welcoming.
Yeah, and especially if it gives you, quote, an abundance of weekly
Yeah,
rewards.
they're pretty good. These challenges have been pretty good.
That'd be interesting. If it's harmonized, though, I wonder how difficult it will be.
It's easier than it was at being a like item level locked raid, but it's mostly supposed to be an event. Like it's supposed to be like another experience.
Yeah.
That's a player who just started playing the game because you basically get tier 3 instantly. Do a raid. It's pretty cool though. The yeah. Anyway, lore nerd here. The Mystic is the one who is entrusted with keeping the pieces of the Ark together, and he's the one that, if you did the Nineveh questline, he's the one that the clown is like, or not? Sorry, not clown. He's the one that you see like in Foggy Ridge. He's the one like oozing mist, and like Nineveh is like, what the fuck's happening? And poofs because he's angry.
A lot of the Guardians seem to be angry and poof.
Yeah.
It's an Abyss raid, so that means it'll be 8 people.
8 people. Yeah. 8 people. No health bar.
No health bar. So it's like Argos.
Argos is Abyss. Yeah, there used to be 3 Abyss raids.
I see.
Mystic was one of them. The other one was Kaish, something like that.
It'll be similar to Argos, but different in that it's normalized item level.
Yeah, and I mean it's a different fight, so.
Well, obviously, but
in terms of just like in terms of entry, yeah.
And I guess you can go in 1302, which I think is earlier than you can do Argos.
You can do Argos in 1302 in other regions as well.
In the other regions, but not in this region.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll promote them to just make Argos integrable. It's fucking dumb. Just let people bust it, because they already do.
A Vicus Legion raid, Inferno difficulty. The most difficult version of Legion raids, the Inferno difficulty, is all about proving you're among the best of the best in Arcasia and earning prestige. Rather than chasing the normal rewards of gear, materials, and everything else you'd receive in a Legion raid, Inferno rewards instead showcase your victory with titles, achievements, stronghold structures, and more. Hold up, you're saying I can get a statue of Vicus?
Oh yeah, it's a big Booba Vicus statue, yeah.
Okay, I'm coming back for this event.
Won't be an event, it'll be permanent, but yeah. Going back to be a Hell mode Vicus enjoyer only.
Scale of balance is applied, and the raid requires use of the Book of Coordination. So everyone's gear is normalized against the level of your Legion Commander opponent. Entry into the Vicus Legion raid Inferno difficulty will require item level 1460. I don't know why this requires an item level at all. If you're normalized, then...
They want you to know that... They want to at least know that on that character you've, potentially done the raid on that character in normal mode.
Does it matter though? Like,
yeah, because it's just it's a normal mode, because like all the mechanics start to stack on top of each other.
I get that, but if I wanted to like get an artillerist, power pass it, and then do a hell mode on the artillerist, why shouldn't I be able to?
I don't know, because you haven't earned the ability to do the fight on the artillerist.
But it's a display of skill, not of your progression of the character.
Well, it would... I guess to most people you wouldn't really be able to progress the character if you wouldn't really have enough skill if you haven't been able to get 1460 and done the fights at 1460. Yeah, you could have done the fights on another character, but you haven't done the fight on...
Yeah, but like...
I also think that one of the requirements should be you have to clear the fight on hard mode as well to make it... Because that makes the item level requirement make more sense. I think that you should have to do the fight on hard mode once. But again, also... Nobody is going to try to enter that fight if they're not 1460 and have done the fight, right? Like, it's just common sense.
Yeah, but like, why have the requirement? Like, is this something you can queue up for?
No.
No, it's not an open queue thing. So like, just allow people. If you're gonna normalize them anyways, just allow people to bring in T2 characters. Like who cares? Like the
Because then you haven't spent the time to progress the character or the money.
but like this is a thing that exists outside of character progression.
It exists alongside it. It's like as you're progressing a character, things start to become like farm content. Like you're just
Inferno
farming.
difficulty is all about proving you're among the best of the best in Arcadia and earning prestige.
Yeah.
Rather than chasing the normal
Yeah,
rewards of gear, materials, and
yes.
everything else you'd achieve from a Legion raid, Inferno rewards instead showcase your victory with titles, achievements, stronghold structures, and more.
Yeah,
Like
but it's supposed to be completed alongside like progressing a character, and like if you feel like you want the challenge, the point of hell modes for the what the director said, the old one, was to because content gets easier as you progress your character. If you want it to challenge the game as if you were on item level, again, because you only have to do that once, but you want to challenge the game as if you were on item level with some extra flair for like valor, like for honor, prestige, yeah. You do hell mode. So that would assume that you are playing this character actively, and it's just a character that you've already been playing, and you just want to go back and do a challenge now. This isn't supposed to be something that you're building the character for.
But why prevent you from making a character and just going and doing the hell mode?
Because they don't want you to do that. They want you to gear up the character. I personally think you should have to get the character 1460 and should have to clear hard mode of the raid to be able to enter. I think it should be even.
I'm more amenable to having to clear a hard mode.
But if you had to clear hard mode, then you'd have to
understand.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between making the requirement meet this. It's not arbitrary, but meet this item level threshold, which does not impact your ability to do the content. Like, the reason that item level thresholds are somewhat okay to do, like, Argos or Vulcan, is because you need those item levels in order to participate in the content. But you don't need any item level in order to participate in the Inferno content. It normalizes you.
I mean, you can basically say that's the requirement, 1460. It's
arbitrarily. It's because of... Like, they give you the item level anyways.
Well, they reduce you to it.
Or they raise you. Well, they could just raise you to it.
Yeah, but I think it's mostly because they're assuming that nobody would go into a hell mode without having first cleared the content on hard.
If that's the assumption, then why have the requirement? I don't think this needs to be a requirement.
Well, I mean, it's either the requirement's either you clear hard mode or it's 1460.
Why? So. Why have any requirement? If this is supposed to be a challenge that is to test your prestige, that is meant to be this thing to overcome
because it's still an MMO
gamer,
and people still find random players, and if you let a random player queue up for, like, if somebody requests to join your party, and
then you deny them.
Yeah, so if somebody queues up for your hell mode group, like in the party finder, and they're a tier 1 character,
yeah,
you deny them.
Not necessarily.
You do.
Okay, but like, if you have the scenario where you have a group of friends and they know that we're all god gamers and you want to go do the hell mode,
then you do it on your 1460s. The classes that you play the most.
I don't have a 1460.
Then you don't do the hell mode until you get 1460 because you haven't cleared hard mode Vicus. You don't know Vicus' mechanics. You've never actually done them.
You can get... Do you have to be 1460 to enter hard mode Vicus?
Yes. 1460 is the requirement for hard mode Vicus. Just like for hell mode Vulcan, it's 1445. Because some of the mechanics are different in hard mode. Vicus is more of a
Sure.
transition to hard mode from normal to hard mode. But
I would be more accepting if they said you had to have cleared hard mode Vicus. I think that's the
intention.
requirement. That's not what happened. Like you're saying that you want the requirement to be hard mode Vicus because you don't want people to be able to.
No, nobody's going to go to hell mode Vicus without have done hard mode first on that character.
Then why have a requirement? You're not. Holy fuck! He's not making any arguments. He's just fucking saying words.
But the argument is that you need to have cleared hard mode Vicus.
Okay, so why is that not the requirement?
That basically is the requirement by being
That is not the requirement. 1460 is the requirement.
Yeah, but you can't do hard mode Vicus up being 1460, so...
If they come out with a power pass that puts me to 1500, then I could have bypassed Vicus entirely and then enter this hell mode Vicus, having never seen normal mode or hell mode or hard mode Vicus.
Yes, but there's no power pass like that. Their highest power pass ever so far has been 1445. But what you're saying is that can't happen yet. If I'm assuming that if they might, because you could see, right, if they made a 1500 power pass or even a 1460, they might change the hell mode requirement to be that you have to clear it.
In Korea, you said they've come out with a 1445 power pass. That's hell mode Vulcan, correct?
Yes.
Or hard mode Vulcan.
Yes.
Do they have the requirement that you have to kill hard mode Vulcan in order to do
I have no idea.
Do they actually go back and change it? Or do they just require you to have the item level?
I do not know that.
Regardless of if that's what they've done in other regions, why is the why of why you make this choice?
The why is because they deemed that as what the worthy requirement needed to be. And I think, and my reasoning behind that, is I think that they assume a player who gets to that item level on a character is going to then do the hard mode on that character, because that's how you progress your character. So you would then need to do the hard mode to then want to feel like you could step into the hell mode.
But why have the requirement in order to go into the hell mode? If the hell mode is
to gatekeep shit noobs. Is that what you want to hear? Because that's what it is.
Why do you need to gatekeep shit noobs? The fight is difficult. The gatekeep to the shit noobs is the difficult content.
Yeah, yeah. The
gatekeep to the shit noobs is that it doesn't reward any power. If this is only done for prestige, then anyone that can get in and kill it, that is the requirement for entry, is that you're able to kill it.
It's most likely just to sort out people who don't know what they're doing because it's a party finder system. Even though you request and then people accept you. Yeah,
if it's a request accept system and they're not queuing you into randos, then it
basically is getting queued into randos because you have to
inspect people and check if they have the achievement for killing Vicus.
Yeah.
You can inspect people and see their item level. Why does there need to be this restriction set by the developers?
Because the things you listed are also restrictions set, but would also just become restrictions, like having the Vicus title and which are also...
Those would become restrictions set by the community, but not by the developer.
I think the restriction is just that they assume that you shouldn't be able to do hell mode until you can do hard mode on the character.
Why?
Just to prevent somebody who's never played Artillerist queuing up on Artillerist for hell mode, and despite having done it on 6 other characters, he might suck at Artillerist.
Yeah, or he might be a god at Artillerist and suck at the person he's got in the 1460. Or it might be that some class is way out of balance and this player can do Artillerist hell mode Vicus, but can't do Gun Lancer hell mode Vicus.
Okay, is the reason you want to hear is because they want your money? Because it might also just be that. They want you to push the character to 1460. They want you to have been invested and played the character. That's probably an even bigger reason.
The reason I want to hear is a good reason, not just they decided to do it.
Well, I'm not the developer, so you'd have to have an interaction with the director, the old director himself, who made all these choices.
I'm not asking about why they made the decision. I'm asking why you're defending the decision.
Because I don't think it's a bad one.
I think it is a bad one. Here are the reasons I think it is a bad decision.
I've listened. You've denied me saying what I think the good choices are. I think
because I've given you reasons why. So I have said I think that this is a bad decision because it is the prestige thing that you should be able to do regardless of your item level, because it normalizes you anyways, so your item level doesn't give you any more power. And if it is purely for the cosmetic, prestige, difficulty of the encounter, then it shouldn't matter what your item level is. And your argument is that, well, they need to have killed hard mode Vicus, which doesn't answer my thing. To which I say, why should they have to have killed? I will meet you where you stand and say, why should they have to have killed hard mode Vicus? This is a completely different thing that normalizes you.
To me, 1460, getting 1460 and killing hard mode Vicus are the same thing, because you're just going to do them at the same time.
Okay, I don't think either of those need to be the requirement.
But I think that it's acceptable to have them be the requirement, just because I don't, like, why would you have to have a character? Why would you try to? I would never try to bring a character into hell mode without having done hard mode on it first. That's just me personally. So that's why I think that it makes sense to have it be locked behind a 1460. Because I wouldn't try to participate in that content until I was 1460 and had done hard mode anyway.
But why prevent someone from doing it?
Because I guess the answer is because. Like, even though you don't want that as an answer, I think that's what. I think that's what they would say. I don't.
Wicked.
Like, I don't have a reason other than that, than the reason I gave, is that for me personally, I wouldn't go into that content without first having done getting 1460 on the character, played it to that point, and then having cleared the content on hard mode. So if I wouldn't do that, and I'm somebody who plays the game quite a bit and plays quite a few characters.
Change our context. Let's say you're someone from Korea who has already played a lot of Summoner.
Yes.
They are a God mode Summoner player. They
Yes.
make their character, there's no power pass for them.
Yes.
And they get to 1302. They could clear Hell mode Vicus because they're a God gamer.
Yes.
Why should they be prevented from doing this prestige content?
Because this is shit designed from the developer. Like, I don't have a reason for you there. That is the yes, this design is shit argument point. Because that argument point was brought up exactly when Vulcan came out. The Koreans wanted to clear the Russians wanted to clear Vulcan, and they didn't want to have to get the gear score for it. Because why? They just wanted to be the first ones in the world to clear it, or first ones in America to clear it. And they still were. like
you're someone that's done the hell mode before is going to be the first one to clear it. I'm under no illusion that there's going to be some new plucky team that goes in and clears the raid first.
Yeah.
It's going to be someone that's done it before, as with all raids in NA.
Yeah.
I don't think that there should be this item level restriction, though,
I think the only reason for the item level restriction is just, again, the chain of thought that I would go down as a player who's played quite a bit and has quite a bit of experience with the game. Is I wouldn't feel comfortable into that content without being 1460 and having done hard mode. And while, yes, there are probably plenty of players, and there are a good subset of players that, because they're hell mode raiders, could do it, it also just helps prevent the process of... I think it's mostly a party finder preventing thing. It's to help it make it easier to actually form a hell mode party. And when you get that hell mode party together, to even though it's some people you might know or some group of for the group of friends who are all God gamers, unfortunately they lose out in this situation. But it probably is a net benefit to those people who are just trying to make a hell mode party kind of pug style. Like, it's one dude who decided, I want to try to clear hell mode. I'm going to try to find 7 other people who are kind of like-minded, and they need to be able to know that they are somewhat capable of playing the game. And in Lost Ark, being able to do being 1460, and then if they ask if you've done hard Vicus, you say yes, you've done hard Vicus. Like, those things just start to eliminate, like, go down the checklist of stuff that you'd want to find in a player before you invite them to your hell mode run. I really think at the end of the day, it's just a process of elimination for Party Finder is the best way to look at it. And there are definitely some sets of players that just get fucked over because they then have to get a character to 1460. There are definitely people who are just Hell Mode Raiders. And yeah,
I don't think there's that many people that get fucked over. I don't think that there's that many people that are looking to do Hell Mode Vicus that don't have a character at 1460.
Don't have that class they're wanting to play at 1460.
That is the problem.
Yeah, I think it's a party finder. I think it's a developer's way of helping party finder not be abysmal. And there I don't know. There might have been a point in time in Korea where Hell Mode wasn't restricted. I do not know. I don't know the history of it there. It's gone through a shit ton of changes. There used to be the book of coordination used to not like exist. It used to just set you to 1445 with nothing. Like it used to literally.
Terrible.
It literally just put you at 1445 with no tripods, no gems, nothing. Or 14. I think it was also a thing for Vicus too. Put you when it was Vicus, Hell Mode Vicus came out, you just put you 1460, nothing, bare bones, just the gear score. Like, it's gone through a lot of changes, so I don't know if the item level attachment is something new or what.
I don't like it.
Well, it probably helps Party Finder.
I don't know that it does. Because who is queuing up for hard mode Vicus that wants to take on... Hell mode. Who's queuing up for Hell mode Vicus that wants to take on this prestige challenge that has no rewards behind it except for a title and is...
The title's pretty...
1302.
The title pulls a lot of weight in the game. A lot of people want it. It looks cool.
Sure. But how many people are queuing up for it that are 1302 and shitters and are going to be absolutely awful, literally can't play, versus our 1460? Like, this gate doesn't do anything because it doesn't serve a purpose. You're getting set to a book of coordination anyways.
It just gives the person making the party together. Also, yeah, there are plenty of shit casuals who are collectors, but there are
But a shit casual that's a collector can still get 1460 and can still get put into this party finder. Like, this doesn't do the job of weeding out
but 1460 is not super casual to achieve, and also if you've played a class to just on paper, if you see somebody who's 1302 on a Deathblade who you've never met before versus somebody who's 1460 on a Deathblade who you've never met before, you're going to assume that the 1460 knows their class better. You just will. That's how looking at two people queuing into a party would look.
Yeah, but why prevent the 1302 from applying?
So that the party finder guy doesn't have to sift through it. The guy making the party. I literally think at the end of the day it's just a party finder. Like, it just assists party finder.
I don't think it does that though, because like
I don't think you have any evidence that it does because you haven't participated in it, right? Like, I haven't participated in it either, so like I can't say either way.
Okay. And no one's participated in this without having the item level thing, so like
I don't know if they have
literally.
Or not. I don't know if they have or not.
Okay.
I don't know how.
You're right. Man. I haven't experienced this firsthand myself. I cede any ability to speak on this topic. We're moving on.
If you,
I'm moving on.
Like if you're in a
trial guardian.
Wait, hang on. If you're in WoW, right? WoW doesn't have item level requirements, right? You could bring a completely fresh expansion noob in there. If two people queued for your party finder and one was up to snuff gear score for the thing, say Wrath, Death Knight, you would just take, if two dudes apply at the same time, one guy bare bones just hit 80 and one dude who's geared out, you would seriously consider bringing the bare bones geared guy.
No, I would take the geared guy every time.
Okay.
But I don't think that should prevent the ungeared guy from.
But then why did you have to see?
In the situation where we're going into an ICC that is normalized, if you go into ICC and they give you a templated character where you have all of the same stats as somebody who's BIS gear, then I don't think that you should be prevented from queuing up to that.
But then you've made the person who's trying to make the party just sift through a bunch of people they're not even going to consider anyway, right? Like,
but why should they not consider them at that point?
I think it's just, again, I think it's all just the developer's way of trying to help the people making the parties. Unveil, you have a Jim. All lobbies unveil in... Oh, you're saying... Okay, I see. You could do it that way. You could have it be that there is a pure private lobby system where you can like invite 8 people yourself and they can be any requirement. They don't have to like... So for PvP in Lost Ark, there is a complete custom lobby, which is separate of the other public private. It's weird. But there's an even more custom lobby that you can queue into if you have the people together in an area. So you're saying like that. If you can get all 8 people together in an area, no matter their gear score, you should be able to bring them into the raid. But if you're wanting to make a more pug lobby, you just have it to where it's 1460. Because I don't think you can't set an item level requirement in... Also, that could just be the fix, is you could just have it so that people could just actually set an item level requirement in hell mode, just like in every other lobby. But again, I think really the basis of it was just to try to help. Like, it's probably a decision made mostly to help Party Finder, or what the developer thinks is helping Party Finder. And there might be evidence of this.
The decision was made arbitrarily because it requires 1460 to enter hell mode, Vicus, and they're like, we'll just slap that onto.
Yeah, I think they
1460 to enter hard, and they're like, we'll just slap it onto hell, as well.
Hell mode's also been through. It's also the first hell mode Vulcan came out a long time ago, and like again, I don't know. It could like there's a chance that the first hell mode. I think the first hell modes were like the Abyss, hell mode Abyss raid, and a hell mode Vulcan. Like they could have easily been unrestricted, and it didn't work out. So just have to look up the history of hell modes in Lost Ark.
Well, actually, I think that they initially were put in with the item level restriction. That didn't work out, and then they removed the item level restriction in Korea, and then everything was perfect. And then now that is coming to NA, they're making the same mistakes they did before because AWS or AGS. That's my complete fucking fan fiction.
What? You don't? What are you saying? You don't know?
You have no basis for saying that.
They could have, for saying that it could have been different?
For saying that it was this specific different way.
I didn't say it was a specific different way. I said that there could have been a point in time where it wasn't item level restricted. Because I didn't keep up with the game back when they added the hell modes.
And I also didn't say it was a specific different way. I also only said that it might have been this other way, and we just have no way of knowing.
I mean, we do have a way of knowing. We just Google it. I can't Google it right now.
Regardless of how it was before, I can Google it. Did Korean Lost Ark have hell mode? Have an item level restriction?
Yeah. Because if it was that way at one point where it's item restricted, then why did they add it? Also, the dumbest thing would be here is if it's not actually item restricted.
How am I going to be able to find this information?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like I want to be able to find the information because there are examples of stuff not being item level restricted, right? That is here. So I could be completely wrong, and that it's just unrestricted in Korea, but for some reason they're restricting us to 1460 to enter.
Like I have literally no way of finding this information.
Like they did with Argos. Do you know what I mean, right? Because like Argos isn't locked anywhere else, but for us it just is. Like why?
Sure, but I'm not asking about even if it was restricted in Korea. I still don't think that's a good argument. They did it in Korea, therefore.
Well, they must have some data behind it, right? Because they're 4 hell modes in at this point.
Okay. I wouldn't make that.
So you think it's you? So we can do. So we're just assuming that it's arbitrary, and they just did it just because. There are examples of them doing it just because.
That I don't know what their reason is. I don't know if they have data behind it. I don't know if it's arbitrary. I don't know what it is in other regions. I don't like that it is a gate in A because it is a content that doesn't require you to have an item level, and yet requires you to have an item level. And the end result of this is that it prevents you from participating in the content on characters that don't meet that item level requirement arbitrarily. Because if I could enter it on my alts or on my even on a main that's not 1460 yet, nothing would prevent me from clearing that content because, or except for the skill of my play, which is supposed to be what's being tested. Skill of my play, the ability of my teammates.
But it is still being tested. It's just with the item level requirement to get in. Like I don't like.
Item level, it's not being tested at all. If I entered it on a 13, if the item level restriction wasn't there,
if you entered it,
and
on
I entered it on a 1302, it would be.
There's also the argument that you don't know your damage. You don't know your damage at 1460 if you're only even 1302 on the character. That could be an argument.
Why would that?
You need to, there are damage, like there needs to be a certain amount of damage dealt for hell modes to like meet damage checks.
Hey? I don't know my damage on a 1460 normal. If I was 1460 or hell 1480, which I am, I don't know my damage on a 1460 Book of Coordination character. I don't know, like how does that?
I like the the solution you're proposing is just remove the item level requirement, right?
Yes, that's the only thing I want is that.
Okay,
it can still be
but
as difficult as it is. I don't want it to be any easier.
But doesn't that only make the life of the person putting the party together harder, potentially?
No. In some ways, it makes it easier because they have a wider field of applicants.
But how are they ever going to even accept
the likelihood of the 1302 guy being able to clear the content versus the 1460 guy? Well, you might say obviously the 1460 guy is going to be more likely to clear the content. Like, there isn't actually any character power in this specific thing that is locked behind being 1460. Like, the power level of the character is the same on a 1302 character versus a 1460 in hell mode.
I mean, they'll be turned to the same power, yeah.
In hell mode.
Yeah. I think it's really just a party finder assistance from the developer. Would it be better with or without it? I can't say.
It's a party.
So you're saying in this case you don't think it's okay for the developer to throw in a bit of gatekeeping?
I think that the gatekeeping doesn't follow for the content that's behind it.
Then what would you, okay. I feel like there needs to be a requirement to help.
I don't feel there needs to be a requirement.
Okay, but okay, so you think okay. So
I think Randall, who has never played the game, who is fresh off the boat, is literally incapable
literally level 10
playing the class. Maybe you have to get to level 50. We'll make that a requirement.
Why?
Sure. Why?
level 10.
Sure, he's level 10. He hasn't
even left Trixians yet. Yeah.
Yeah. hasn't even. Well, he has to accept an advanced class.
Yes, maybe.
So that they know.
Fuck it, maybe.
They have to know what book of coordination to give him.
Okay.
Unless they're making book of coordinations for this mage base.
Yeah.
They have to know what coordination to give him. So he hasn't even left Trixium, but he's picked his advanced class.
Okay.
I think even he should be able to enter the Hell mode because he will be the exact same power as the person sitting next to him. He might not perform as well because he has no idea what the fuck is going on or what any of his buttons do, but he should have the same ability as someone standing next to him, as Irma standing next to him, with all of his game knowledge and all of his character power.
And I guess that's where the developer steps in and goes, no, you need to have invested a little bit into the game before we let you try this content. Maybe for your own sake. I personally don't think it's overhanded from the developer, but I see your point of that it could be, yes, to somebody who, because the point of it is supposed to be just prestige, but like,
and to be clear, I do think that
also the community would make their own. The community would just set these.
Will make the requirements themselves, anyways.
This only really benefits. I don't know. This only really benefits like the weird oddball examples of people wanting to enter, like with their friends randomly on a class they've never played before, just because fuck it, let's try Hell mode tonight.
Yeah, a Hell mode on a class that is not my main.
Yeah, or no, I mean, okay, but you're also saying not your main. Like, a lot of people have like 5 or 6 characters at 1460 right now, so like.
Okay, Hell mode on a character I just created because it just came out. There's no power pass. Like,
yeah, it's like the yeah, it'd be like me being like, okay, I've literally never played War Dancer before. I don't actually want to play the character, but I want to play the character, kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is your opportunity to do so in a very challenging environment.
Yeah, I think everybody would tell me to go fuck off. I'd learn how to play the class.
They can, and it's well within their right to make the party and say, fuck off, you don't know how to play your class. But if you are able to get in, you have the same power, maybe not the same ability, but you have the same power as everyone else in that place.
But I guess that's the thing, is all the people are caring about in there is your ability, and without having seen you play, without having people just associate item level with ability. How the game works.
Yeah, but those aren't directly related at all.
Yeah, they aren't. But that's how the community views them.
Like, we see this in almost every normalized content we go into, is that people are higher item level and will still get out damaged, out healed, out staggered, out everything by people that are lower item level.
Yep. I think it'd be interesting to be able to. Like try a Hell mode on a class that like I've never played before, but I also think I would be making 7 other people suffer. So, like,
yeah, unless you were really good at that class, and then you were making 7 other people pog because you.
Yeah, but I'm not going. But I'm not going
the
to
entire raid.
No, I don't think anybody walks in on like most people don't walk in on a class they've never played before, and just even if they know the content, they don't know how to play their class in the content. Right? But it's.
But like, someone could know their class.
I just think that this god gamer. Yeah, but I also think that's very rare, probably very rare case.
I guess.
Because just playing the class, you get the item level.
Not necessarily.
I mean, if you're fighting a monster, you're getting closer towards hearing the character. Even if you only get reward for the first 2 Guardians of the day and you are Onyx and you're killing 100, like, just doing your daily stuff every day and even playing the character, just that one character after that, you're still going to progress the character. Also, especially because, like, this Hell mode Vicus is coming out with, like, right before Belshazzar, so, like, most people are going to have their main characters be over 1490. Okay, well, one of Belshazzar's that people are supposed to be 15. Like it's supposed to come out at a time when people are 1520. Yeah.
The people aren't going to have all of their alts at 1460.
If you're actively playing the game, probably see your top 6 be at least like, I don't know, top 6 by Belshazzar is looking like for people who are playing every day, you're going to be at like 1490 on all 6 of them. But by playing more chill mode, yeah, you probably like everybody. Your top 6 will be 1460. You're playing them every day, and you have 6 characters. But there are 21 classes, so like there'll be a lot of classes that you want to try.
Yeah, and also, I don't know that there are that many people playing 6 characters a day.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of people play a lot of classes a day. More than I think. I also feel that way too. Because I'm like, do people really play more than like 2 or 3 characters? And I think people just do. I just think they just... But like, dailies don't take that long, I guess. It's like, is the real gist of it. Like the actual daily stuff. Like not doing anything other than dailies. Doesn't take that long. Anyway, the next thing on the list you're about to talk about is Hell Mode Guardian. Same restriction. So
the Akati's Trial Guardian.
Or maybe this one. Oh no, the Akati's is different.
A challenging experience akin to the Inferno difficulty of Legion raids, the Akati's Trial Guardian raid can only be entered after setting up your build through the Book of Coordination. If defeated, prestigious rewards of achievements and a legendary title will be earned by the vanquishing party to award prestige and celebrate their hard-fought victory.
That's only the first one, by the way. That title is only for the first kill. They didn't state it.
I'm going to claim absolute victory in that literally in the next paragraph, they remove the item of a requirement for a different thing, and all rejoiced. Everyone pogged. Like, why have the requirement for Vicus and not for Akati's?
Akati's is a tier 1 guardian.
Yeah, but why not have the requirement be whatever item level Akati's is?
Isn't he the like first guardian?
No, Ernil's the first guardian.
Akati's is like...
He's like on the second page.
Yeah. But when you open the game now, you get a 1302, so...
Sure. But why not have that requirement? If that requirement is a proxy for having done the fight, then why not have that requirement?
I don't know.
My argument is that it's not a proxy for having done the fight. And that it shouldn't be a requirement at all.
I think there should be the requirement of having done the fight. But I think an argument for having done the fight makes more sense than the item level requirement.
I mean, I think that makes more sense, but I also disagree with it.
Don't think somebody should have at least done the fight once on that class?
Yeah, that's my position.
You would never... You would kick that person from your party!
Okay.
For content that's supposed to be like... It's the elitist content.
Or?
That's what it is. It's elitist content.
Okay.
So you don't think there should be some barriers to entry?
I don't think there needs to be. The barrier to the content is the content.
I don't think that helps out party finders at all. I think it's a party finder problem. It doesn't help you, like...
Party finders can just set their requirement to be 1460.
Also, very well be is because when you hover over like challenge guardians, you can't actually do the challenge guardians, like the ones that we do every week. You can't do those without actually having killed the guardian. So that might be how the Akati's works. If you go to its menu, they could have just not put that in because that's just an overview and not the actual patch thing. I wonder if the menu says you have to actually have killed Akati's, because for any of the other guardian stuff we've gotten, like even the like the event ones, like the special ones, you have to have at least killed the guardian once to enter each of them. Even though it's the plus version, you have to have killed the regular version. So, like, it literally like says it on it, like, because I had a new character that I boosted. And yeah, it was like, you have to have done this to enter. So, I don't know if that's the same thing for the Hell Mode Trial Guardian raid again. That's the Akadi's. I think there's been 3 in history. Akadi's. What's the Birdman's name? Alberhastic.
Oh, Alberhastic. My team that I cheer for.
Yeah, Alberhastic and now new Kalalagos is the other Guardian one. I know that in Korea the requirement to kill Kalalagos and Guardian, his Hell mode, was to have normal killed it, only because I saw them open up the window and it has the green text that says kill Kalalagos completed. But again, Akadi's is fucking ancient. This is Akadi's is a Hell mode made 2-3 years ago, so who the fuck knows what codes that's got in it. Or if that's actually a requirement. I think the requirement of making sure you killed it once on that character. Actually, maybe just once, period. Might be actually how Guardians work. Because I've definitely not killed. Yeah, I think it's just once on the account.
Once on the account is approaching acceptability for me, because
I don't think Randall should not be allowed to fight a hell fight. Sorry.
Yeah, but why not? Like,
because he's bad. Because he hasn't played the game.
But what if it turns out he's a god gamer?
Yeah, the 1 in a million chance he's just a naturally gifted lost art god gamer. Yeah. No, I don't want to make any. I don't want to make 6 other people other than me have to, either bearing witness to that PogChamp would be pretty PogChamp, but
exactly.
Also the eye bleeding. I don't think Amazon wants to handle that lawsuit.
Oh. I think having it killed or having done it once on the account would be the most stringent I would go.
Also, am I dumb am I dumb and that 1460 requirement, is that a character on the account or does that say on the character? Because it might be on the account. Because I've definitely seen people.
Entry into the Vicus Legion raid Inferno difficulty will require item level 1460.
Okay.
So that makes it sound like it's per character.
Okay.
It could be that it's per character.
I've never actually clicked on the hell. I've never actually clicked on the hell mode the Inferno bracket in game. I just kind of ignore it.
Same.
I just kind of
don't click on anything in game.
I just kind of fucking ignore it.
Except for the accept invite button. That's the only button I click, and then my damaging abilities sometimes.
Mostly pooping.
I do a lot of pooping, it seems.
Should be eating so much shit.
I don't know that eating shit is what causes you to poop. I think that eating regularly, it causes you to shit.
Oh, stop eating all the boss's attacks.
Other key content. These 3 raids aren't the only thing arriving in October. Again, these 3 raids being the Abyss raid, the Hell mode Vicus, and the Hell mode Akatis.
This month? What the... Okay.
These 3 raids aren't the only thing arriving in October. Players in San Diego can join us at TwitchCon Batchest.
That was today, right?
Maybe.
You're sure TwitchCon was like today or yesterday? Maybe, or is it this weekend? Maybe this weekend.
It'd make more sense to be over the weekend, but
there were a lot of Lost Ark streamers talking about being. I think a lot of them were flying from Korea to NA. TwitchCon. So there might be something on there.
Can look forward to Arc Pass Season 2. Naria's Wardrobe Halloween Edition.
Oh, that looks so good.
The continuation of the September progression events and Competitive Proving Grounds Season 2 will kick off at the end of the month.
That was also really interesting. They ended the PvP seasons normally in Lost Ark are like a year long. They actually ended our first one really quickly. because the first one opened up. I think the season actually turned on in like April. They did it after like 5 months. Pretty cool.
When did they end in Korea?
Again, they're like literally like a year long.
No, but like what point in the year?
Like the first two were like beginning of the year to the end of the year. Like literally just went year to year at start to end.
Yeah, but like they could still be planning to just do the resets in October.
Yeah,
and are setting up for that.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be a year long. But yeah, maybe a good thing though. It'd be good for the PvP guys to get their a little bit more churn.
Maybe. I don't know if I would prefer shorter or longer seasons. I think that I don't do PvP at all, so I don't have any.
The only thing that it's just an MMR reset, really, because like if you earn the rewards once, you get to keep them. So like, it's just an MMR reset for the people who like the competitive. I think it's fine.
Yeah, but would you prefer them to be more often, or
I prefer like
time to...
like a couple months each time? It's pretty good. I think like going too long, people get like MMR just gets stagnant. So considering that the people who were like the top 5 say they might be the top 5 again, but like they were like they're pretty locked in. Also because they had that scuffed up MMR at the start that they had to fix. That they didn't actually fix. They just kind of gave people some points and hoped it worked out. So like the people who were kind of at the top kind of stayed at the top and got an even bigger boost from that MMR bump because it just gave them a I don't know. It was scuffed this first time around. That also might have been why it was shorter. Maybe it'll be longer again. Like it'll just reset in October, like a year long. But I think I prefer like for a PvP and an MMO. How long were WoW's PvP seasons? 4, 5? They were just with patches, right?
They were with raids, yeah. When a new raid would come out.
Yeah, I like their time. I like that timing. It felt pretty good.
Like every
it's
4
like
months,
4 or 5, yeah. It was just long enough to where you could like get it, like play a couple characters in PvP, start to feel really comfortable with them, like even at different rating, like at a high rating, and then it was the patch would jumble it up again.
Well,
what's next on the
yeah,
topic?
I don't really have an opinion on how long PvP things should be.
I also haven't played PvP in Lost Ark since Vaulton released. I just like the rewards weren't. There wasn't enough mats a week to care about.
Our next heading is November, so we're moving out of October and into November. We're getting the Reaper Advanced class. Reapers are true assassins and masters of stealth. From powerful back attacks inflicted by their daggers to misleading opponents by vanishing and summoning clones. They have shadow clone jutsu?
Yeah, they do.
Reapers have a variety of tools at their disposal to vanquish whatever threat crosses their path. They look sick.
They are pretty fucking dope. They're basically like, imagine like, yeah, they're pretty sick. They have like multi shadow clone jutsu and they like dance around the screen.
And their weapon is a dagger. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's tough, but in a good way. Some other key content planned for November. The tripod transfer system improvements, which guarantee the transfer tripods through a new amulet material used for applying skill tripods, bring new notification improvements, skill tree guide quest improvements, and add a skill tree transfer mission in the training area.
Yep. So that basically tripod system means if you save your tripods in your library right now, say you save your level 4s, which there's 18 slots in the library, you get 18 tripods. If you collect all your level 4s right now before the change, after the change, 100% you have all the tripods. No RNG here. You have them all forever.
That's kind of cool. A notable menu RNG hater, wasn't too scuffed about the tripod transferring. But that's mostly because I don't think I understood quite the power level that is hidden behind them. So
tripods are fucking large. Like, to put it this way, if you get your like going 4 to 5 on like your 3 damage skills is basically the equivalent of adding like level 10 damage gems to those skills. So
Yeah, it seems rather valuable.
yeah,
But
it's big.
we're also getting a balance update, including changes to the Legion Raid hallucination gear set. I have no idea what that is.
That's one of the sets.
Class. Oh, I know I know that it's.
It's the crit one. It's making it go from. They changed it in Korea from being you need to crit to keep the set giving you. So it was busted because you needed to crit, and the set gives you crit. So if you couldn't, if you had low crit rate base, couldn't use it. But now it's just if you hit, it keeps the crit buff up. You don't have to crit. It's really good for consistency. Yes. Enabled a couple builds to come online. Couple variations is pretty good change.
There's also the class balance updates to the Berserker, Destroyer, Scrapper, Soulfist, Lehier, Artillerist, Sharpshooter, Gunslinger, Machinist, and Arcanist. I can't help but notice they misspelled Mr. Bow as Sharpshooter.
You want to know what the buff do you want to know what the big balance patch they gave to him was?
Mr. Bow?
Yeah.
Okay, lay it on me.
3.4% damage.
He's fucking massive.
That's it.
Mr. Bow rising.
I mean, Mr. Sharpshooter, notably the class with like the oldest like literally like the oldest animation of the gunners, all of that didn't get anything. Arcana's getting like the same overhaul to damage, complete new identity changes, and all new animations to her skills. Or Sharpshooter, 3% damage. Yep, cock.
Well, I'm sure that as that balance change approaches, we'll get more information about what's coming to our. I imagine it'll just be the same as what Korea got.
It's probably Korea. It was really scuffed when they first got it. So the reason we think it was delayed is because they were Korea. Then it's been like a month. It's been 2 months since then, and like a month in, they finally settled on like, doing hot fixes and like week by week changes. So I think. Mm-hmm. That we'll probably get their current version. Because same thing happened last time. They were kind of tweaking their balance patch, and when we finally got it, we got the one literally from the week before.
The correct version?
Yeah, the correct version. Which is a benefit to things coming out later. But
in some ways. Alright. We also will get stronghold improvements, such as interior decorations.
Yep, you can go into the stronghold. You go into your manor now. The office that Adeline's been waiting in. Yeah. She's no longer standing outside. Now she's waiting in the office.
Oh, good. She can finally get out of the sunlight. There's also a new trophy system and trophy room. There's gifting. I don't know what that means. The ability to place mounts and pets. Structure placement updates. New jukebox music. HUD improvements. And new minigams.
The new stronghold. The new stronghold? Very cool looking. All the stuff you can add to the stronghold now, very pog.
Quite a buff to stronghold. The name of my stronghold.
You'd be a hideout warrior.
No, a stronghold warrior. Mm-hmm. My stronghold is strong. The Mystic Abyss Raid event will continue in the beginning of the month. This is the November month. It's coming out in October. For players to continue to build their raid skills and earn valuable rewards as they push toward the slew of threats arriving in December, alongside a special progression event.
I'll go.
Neat. We'll have to get more details on that, but seems good. Alright, we're moving on to December. We'll get the Summoner.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the Summoner Advanced class. Despite their delicate constitution, Summoners are a force to be reckoned with in any battle. They call forth elemental spirits to fight for them, each with their own special skills to help the Summoner shine in every situation. With a powerful variety of water, lightning, earth, and more unique attacks, why not fire, and air.
You do have fire, but the Summoner shoots the fire herself.
The Summoner is a welcome addition to the roster of available Mage Advanced classes. Seems good.
Summoner is pretty cool. Got the pets. some of the pets, they have like special attacks now. This was their rework that they made to her. It was like now the pets actually have like attacks and stuff that you command. Also, all the pets got reworked. Like they redid the models on all of them, redid the attacks on all of them. Some new ones, removed the old ones. Yeah. It'd be much better to get Summoner in its state that it's going to be in when we get it, but man, it would have been cool to have it beforehand, and then have just had to deal with the changes. But it basically became a new class after the rework, honestly. Like the old way of building, because there was only one way to build it before, because it just was kind of, again, it was the oldest mage, right? Like its class design was from the original release of the game. Wasn't really unique in any way, but now it's like got a lot of different, now it's got different build options and isn't literally 11 damage gems.
Interesting. Is it gonna be? Is it like a crit build, a spec build, or a swiftness build?
It used to just be swiftness,
Okay.
and now it's a spec build. Or I think there's swiftness still, but there's a spec and a crit build. Because the pets scale differently now, different stuff. So.
Alright, sounds interesting.
I'm looking to add it to my top 6. Pretty.
I think we have 2 more things coming in December. So we got Summoner, we got the Brelshaza Legion Raid, and then we have parentheses Phantom S.
Oh, that's the rehearsal mode. The Deja Vu mode.
Deja Vu,
yeah.
And normal difficulty. We face Brelshaza, commander of the Phantom Legion, and an immersive and challenging 8-player Legion Raid spanning 6 unique gates and encounters. The most cunning and ruthless of all the Legion commanders. She is known to charm her enemies and inflict them with awful hallucinations. With so many encounters, the gates work differently, and the item level requirements rise every 2 gates. Similar to the Midnight Circus Encore difficulty of the Cockle Seiyan Legion Raid, an easier difficulty is available for players to practice the difficult encounters and mechanics. So our first item level requirement is 1430 for Deja Vu. I've been in this palace before.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have item level 1490, which is for gates 1 and 2. Item level 1500 for gates 3 and 4. And item level 1520 for gates 5 and 6. 1520 seems a long way off for me, but I guess
you gotta remember you can do the first couple gates too. Gate 1 and 2 gives you a piece of gear, and gate 3 and 4 gives you another piece of gear. So what level is gate? It's 1490 for gate 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So your gear is 1490. That's all your gear would be 1490, right? Assuming you haven't over leveled anything. You go in, you do gate 1 and 2, you leave, because you can leave anytime you want, right? Leave after you buy the boxes, stuff like that. And then you walk over to the vendor and you craft Brelshaza gear, which has a higher base. And then when you transfer it over, that means that your item level should have gone from base 1490. I think you can craft, it's 1 or 2 pieces, I think, per those 2. So it might be 2. If you buy the boxes, 2. Anyway, whether either of you don't or not. And then that brings your item level. What was the 3 and 4's requirement? 1510?
1520?
No,
3 and 4 is 1500.
1500. Oh, yeah, 1500.
Just flat 1500.
Yeah, you get 5 item level on your character sheet from going up for 1 piece. Okay. I believe if you do 1 and 2 and can buy the box like on the side of the screen in both gates, it gives you 2 pieces because you get first clear chest. So that puts you from 1490 to 1500 just by transferring the gear. It's free, just by completing the mechanic.
So if you get to 1490, you can get to gate 4.
Yeah.
And then if you get to gate 4, do you get enough material to do 2 more pieces?
I think it's just 1 more piece actually. I think the 3 and 4 gate gives less.
So you do need to get yourself to
you get to
a couple pieces beyond.
Yeah. So you get to 1500 off of just transferring your gear, and then you do 3 and 4, and then I believe that gets you to 1505. And then 1505. If you just are 1505, you then would have to hone to 1520, do 5 and 6, which that's 6 gear upgrades. The new ones do give more.
That's horrible.
The new bases do give. Well, that's if you're just a base 1490.
Yeah, that's horrible.
The expected gear score, like.
I'm not saying for people that actually play the game. I'm saying for me.
No, I mean.
Who doesn't actually play the game?
I mean, it could be. Yeah, I mean, like by the time Roshaza comes out, if we're all clearing as a team again, it should be. You should easily, no problem, be at least 1500. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's not an issue.
We'll need 4 more people, right? Because it's an 8-player raid.
Or have 4 and Pug 4.
We're also getting the Cal Elgos Guardian raid.
Oh yeah, because all Roshaza gear upgrades doesn't upgrade off of the old mats. It's all new mats. So buying the mat, being able to afford the mats to upgrade the gear, pain.
Cal Elgos is the Master of Lightning, commanding
What's a boiler?
To bring his enemies to their knees. His wings are as swift as wind. Wind doesn't have to be swift, but okay. He just lazily flaps his wings.
Yeah.
And the power of blue thunderbolts concentrate in his horn. Sharper than any spears to pierce the hearts of his enemies. His horn is sharper than any spears. And it pierces the hearts of his enemies.
Yep.
Okay. Doesn't seem like a very graceful attack. It seems like he has to have his head under
This is supposed to be the
intro.
This is them giving you the introduction to his Guardian cage match.
Yeah, but like going for the heart with his horn doesn't seem to be a very effective attack.
But he's fast as wind.
Yeah, but we've already established that wind can be at a very slow speed.
But his is wind.
I see. As a ruler of the skies, he was worshipped in the past as a god. But Cal Elgos is no god. He's a cruel ruler of the sky and a ruthless guardian. That's not how we characterized him in the cage match at all. Cal Elgos will join the gauntlet of level 6 guardians. The item of requirement to challenge Cal Elgos is 1490.
He drops the new mats as well. He's the board. The 1490 is the reset point.
Oh, they're key content. The new content doesn't stop with the new raids and new advanced class. Higher level South Vern Void Chaos dungeons and
that's the new mats. Yep.
hard P3 cube and boss rush activities for item level 1490 will arrive along with Neria's Wardrobe Pajama Edition, a festival holiday event, and a new accessory type, the bracelet, which can be earned from the Belshazzar Legion raid, Cal Elgos Guardian raid, and South Vern's new Avoid Chaos dungeon. The bracelet increases character stats, but doesn't have engravings slotted into it like other accessories. Looking ahead, we're excited to see players vanquish the myriad of threats arriving in the coming months, as they grow their skills in challenging activities, and grow their rosters with the new advanced classes, and earn impactful rewards to help progression. In the meantime, stay tuned to our website, social channels, and the release notes for the full list of new content, store updates, events, bug fixes, and more over the coming months.
I already said that.
See you in our cage. Yeah, they did. That was so that's what's called a closing paragraph, where you reiterate your opening paragraph, which is exactly what they did.